Thank you so much.
I'm gonna move over next to John. It feels like
Yeah, it feels like you're
That's good.
out. Okay. I'd like to call to order the May 2nd, 2024 meeting of the City of Saugatuck Historic District Commission. Angelic chimes to start us off. Could we start with roll call, please?
Straker,
Here?
Patterson,
here.
Canarsa,
Here.
Donahue,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Godfrey's absent. Neva's absent.
Thank
We
you.
have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you so much. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions?
None from staff, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. So everyone had a chance to read the meeting, the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 4th, 2024? And if so, could I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of regular meeting held on April 4th, 2024.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Who was your second?
John.
Thank you.
Yeah, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Okay. Are there any public comments on the agenda items for tonight? Nope. Okay. Is there any unfinished business? Appears not. If not, we'll go right into new business. We have 4 things tonight. First is 322 Culver, which is an outdoor dining and sidewalk application. Anyone here from 322? Come on up. Just come up and introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
I'm Adi Cuellar. I'm the daughter of the owner of Alvarado Feliz. I don't
Great.
really.
That's great. Is there anything beyond what's in the packet in terms of your application that you wanted to mention, or is it pretty straightforward?
I think it's pretty straightforward. The only thing that has been brought to my attention is, I don't believe that they put the sanitation station or garbage, image outside. We weren't planning on having anything related to that outside purely because we don't want to contaminate. And we have everything inside to take care of that. And then plants would be one in pretty much every corner of that layout.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay, great. So we just go around the table and then we'll take a vote. I'll just start us off by kind of reminding folks, because we've had different people at different meetings, that in past applications, we sort of looked at these as if there's something architectural versus temporary in nature. These have passed or are passing zoning standards. Correct, Ryan?
Correct. In this particular case, they'll be before the planning commission in a couple weeks.
Correct. So we're looking at compatibility with architecture, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'll start with you, Will. Any questions or clarifying comments?
I think it's just pretty much the same layout you had last year. It's just that if I remember correctly, the barricade or the, what would you call that? Whatever you call it, looks like that's upgraded from past years. Am I correct?
Yes, so instead of being a wood build, it would be a mesh kind of wire.
Okay. That was me.
Thank you. Keith?
No questions.
Thank you. John?
No questions right now.
Okay, Russ?
No questions. Thank you for being here this evening. I do have a comment though, and this is probably more for zoning or for just city administration. Something that has been brought to my attention, not just with your property, but with just the pop-up or the expanded outdoor dining, is that we need to make sure that there's appropriate safety measures taken for traffic and especially those that, well, they're all in the right of way. But just to make sure that they're appropriately marked so people don't, especially at night. Saugatuck has an evening crowd, and so I just want to make sure that they're safe. So
Yeah.
for pedestrians and for drivers alike.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gardner. I think that's, the regulations require, lighting and reflectors to be present on the outdoor dining areas. So that's kind of what's required, at least, from at least, visual standpoint to make sure that somebody's aware that it's there. I know there were some concerns that came up with this particular location last year that I'd talked with the owners about as it related to being able to see the stop signs as you were approaching the intersection and umbrellas, and they're not going to install umbrellas this year. So
Yeah, it's a good call.
Thank you. Otherwise, I appreciate the upgrade you're making. Thank you.
Same, I appreciate the upgrade. Someone like to make a motion?
I move to approve the outdoor dining areas in accordance with the plans, materials and details submitted with
Thank
the
you.
application for 322 Culver Street.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Jamie, you okay? We're going too fast?
Good.
Okay. I didn't realize words like bing, 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 bing. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed? Okay, thank you so much.
typically, yeah.
All right, next we have 201 Culver Street. Hello. Same plan.
Yes. I appreciate it going second, so that.
There you go. You know the drill
That's how
now.
it goes. So I'm Chad Kuntz, I'm the tasting room manager for New Holland Spirits. And we're really hoping to just kind of put up the same thing that we had last year. No umbrellas, no heaters, nothing of note really from changing from last year.
Okay. Hot tubs, no.
No,
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure we could.
Might get some takers.
We'll start at the other end this time. Russ, any clarifying questions or comments?
I do not. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
John?
None from me.
No questions.
Well,
Questions?
I have none either. Pretty straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Sure, I move to approve the outdoor dining areas in accordance with the plans, materials, details submitted with the application for 201 Culver Street.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
John, seconds. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks.
Thank you.
And our third application is 248 Culver, which is a Culver's got action tonight. Remove a freezer and construct a small building addition with some equipment. Hi there.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Introduce yourself if you would,
Yeah,
and we'll-
I'm Wes Noble. My partner and I are planning a restaurant and brewery distillery in the said building. And which we received a SLU approval for. And so we're planning a renovation that would begin in June and conclude sometime late fall with a planned opening in the winter. And included in our plan is we need a little bit extra space. We don't need the existing freezer that's on the back. So a big part of the plan is to remove that freezer and replace essentially the same area with a small structure to house some of the necessary equipment inside. And then of course the other items which are not included in the property now, like a fence for the dumpster and enclosure, that sort of thing.
okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Welcome.
I'll start randomly in a different order.
And I will say I have our architect here with us if we have any sort of architectural
Hi.
related questions. This is Jeff.
Okay, thank you. Keith, want to start with you? Do you have any
Um,
clarifying questions, comments?
One question, in that area where you're planning on putting in it's a cracking room, correct? There's a fence that separates your property or that property to the next door. And there's also a handmade bin on the wall there. Is that coming down or is that gonna stay up?
The fence, I'm not sure if we plan to remove the fence, but
No, the bins,
the-
sorry.
but the
Yeah, all the
the-
stuff that's nailed up to this fence there.
the bins will plan to
Okay.
go away.
All right. No other questions?
Thank you. Keith?
And the scope of this, I just wanted the scope of this is just this installation, correct? We're not taking a tour around the front and more than we've seen in here.
No, I don't,
Just
I think
that
so,
area, is that
correct?
correct?
Yeah, there isn't
Okay.
any other plan changes for
Okay.
the, any exterior.
I just
No
want to make
windows,
sure we didn't.
doors, anything like that.
Yeah, all right, good, thanks.
Well,
I have a question for you and maybe directionally challenged, but when we talk about the back of the building, you're talking about the one that's kind of starting where the parking lot with the bank side is, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that would be the north side of the,
Yeah,
of the
okay,
building.
okay.
So essentially, really, we visually, it's, would be the north side.
Right, okay.
Because you can't really stand on the
Yeah.
west side of the
Yeah,
building,
okay.
but the work to be done would primarily be on the west side, and but the fence for the dumpster enclosure would be on the north side.
And that's also gonna be covered as well, the unit that you're installing?
I believe that was in part of the plan. Because we're going to install a chilling unit, which would be sitting on top of the new structure. And we did plan to put some sort of a cover there to satisfy the aesthetic needs.
but even so, I think to your question, it's kind of in the back corner.
Yeah.
There's not really an elevation where you'd see it. You might see it from the front elevation if you were across the street in that high, but but it sounds like
Okay.
that's what it looks like. What cars.
And I'd have to double check with Jeff, but you're speaking about the cooling unit or the chilling unit. I don't think that it's actually going to extend above the existing roof of the main building.
Yeah. Anything else, Will?
That's it.
Russ?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here this evening. So looking at the elevation, the east elevation, the wood fence that's proposed for the dumpster enclosure, is that going to consume some of the parking spots behind your building? Behind the building? Am I seeing that correctly?
Can you help me with that one?
Yeah, it is. Sure, yeah, so you understand where I'm looking at,
Yes,
right?
it is taking up two of the spots where they're putting the new dumpster.
Yeah, so if you go to the right, yep, so.
I feel like to say whether it's taking up a spot or not.
It'd be right. It's out here, right?
No, it's actually,
Yeah, it's.
Oh, okay, okay, so it's gonna be up here then.
Even here.
Oh, so it's just gonna replace, okay.
yeah, it's just replacing that. Yeah, sorry.
So wouldn't be convinced that it's actually taking a
No.
parking spot because
No,
of the.
based on that, no, it would not. I was worried about these 4 spots. I work this lot for the schools during the summer, for my daughter's class.
Uh-huh.
I'm intimately familiar with the building and the parking lot, so that will not be taking up any parking spots. So, thank you.
I can see why you asked that. It sort of seemed like the fence was out towards the street.
That's it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
John?
Looking at this elevation here, that you're talking about, that's a chiller on top or what's on top?
Yeah.
And that is it galvanized or what is that? You said you put a cover on it, but it's not specified yet?
We hadn't decided on the cover material, but the unit itself is enclosed in a painted steel enclosure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, okay,
Like basically a gray powder coated steel
Yeah.
enclosure.
architecturally, I like the step downs from the 3 flat roofs and that one's not going above the tallest one, so.
you actually lower the roof down purposely to kind of.
Yeah,
It's
it-
not just this imposing.
Yep,
thing.
it looks, I mean, really purposeful to do it that way and to keep the doors the same height. Wall materials, how are you blending that?
We're gonna use EPIS on the exterior to match the existing stucco that's on there.
Okay,
And the color and everything like that.
Okay.
so.
no, I think that works well. No other questions.
Kind of off topic, but this spot back here is where the old jail used to be.
Really?
Yeah, so. if
The
you
old
wanted-
what?
The old jail.
Oh, okay.
We had a drunk tank here. I think there was two cells in there for people that needed to.
That's pretty cool.
So maybe you want to paint it with, I don't know, Saugatuck Jail, something, I don't know. Just a thought. So anyway, just like maybe interested.
But
That's really
like
interesting.
on the door, like bars.
Entirely your call. That would be historic in my opinion. But anyway, you probably didn't know that little
I
fact.
did not.
That's where yeah. So I was never personally put in there, but. So,
Mr. Chair, one thing I don't know that was mentioned in the consultant and staff report was just noting that, you know, just looking at their plans again here, that they're demoing that chimney as well. I just want to make sure everybody
Mhm.
saw that and that was part of your
Yeah,
you know,
good point.
review. So.
Thanks for calling that out.
Yep.
One question though.
But
Use that acronym that I'm not familiar with, EFIS?
EFS.
What's it stand for?
Exterior insulated finish system. So what it is.
Say it again?
It's
EFS.
exterior insulated finish system.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and it's just.
All right, got it.
What-
Yeah,
Oh, flat.
I got it.
Stucco panel kind of?
Yeah, yeah, it's like a pre-made.
I feel like the only thing that might be missing, unless I'm just missing it, is door spec. I see double door, but is it a metal door? Is it fiberglass? Is it,
It's the match.
and that's painted?
It's probably gray, but we
Okay.
can match it. We have it painted to match the wall color.
The other, okay. Okay,
You said metal door painted gray, as I said.
Metal door painted gray.
yes. I feel like for consistency, when we make this motion, we should put in the motion that you just provide a spec sheet as follow-up for the application, just so we're ticked and tied on that, because usually we would have a cut sheet on what the door is, what the manufacturer and material is. So that'd be great. I don't have any other questions. Does anyone else have anything?
Yeah, one more, sorry. Is there any condition when we approve this that we would want to see, or are we comfortable with whatever they're gonna paint the chiller, like, or did you say you're proposing that you cover it with something,
No.
We were,
or we just leave it?
we were proposing a cover on the north side, which is visible to the public essentially.
So the way I'm interpreting it is, I guess to answer your question, this material sort of looks like stucco. And if you're painting it to match the rest of the masonry,
Yes.
we don't,
There's some.
right.
That works good.
We're recording, so yeah, we need you, yeah. So.
So the intent is to match the stucco pattern and
Color.
color that's around the other part of the buildings, you know, that's for part of that building and just to do it that way.
For me, that sort of just makes that little thing go away,
Mhm.
which and we don't really have a vote on color.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like materiality wise, you're making it go away, and that's kind of what we.
That's
care
kind of
about.
what I want to do. So.
Yeah. Does that answer your
Yep.
question? Yeah.
And that's specified in the spec now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, in theory, if they wanted to paint it purple, it can be painted stucco color tomorrow, so it's not really a big deal. I mean, not that you would want to paint it purple, but
Just for clarification, I thought you said earlier that that was going to be metal that was painted in the walls of the building, the new building portion of the stucco. Did I hear you wrong?
I think maybe we decided.
This is gonna be stucco or metal?
no,
That's gonna be metal.
metal.
That is not.
That metal can
Chiller
be
unit.
painted though the same color as the stucco.
Okay,
If we need to.
okay.
For me, that's just, it's honest. It's a piece of equipment on the building and you're not trying to make it look like architecture as one person's opinion, and it's shielded from everything. So I don't know.
Kind of letting it be what it is, and
Right.
there's really only a few spots where you could really see it. Maybe when you park, when you're down over the summer,
I don't
you
know
might
that
be able to
the,
see it, but
I don't know that the climb is worth the view to
no.
clad it or do anything
It's
fancy.
it's gonna improve that look of that back lot there.
Right.
Significantly.
Right.
You could just talk to the guys next to you that have their laundry out there and stuff. That might help.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I will. I move to approve the removal of an attached freezer, the addition of a small northern rear building addition with rooftop cooling equipment, new double doors for rear service access, and new screen dumpster area at 248 Culver in accordance with the plans and details submitted. And I believe there are no conditions.
Thank you. second. Any discussion? I would just add to that motion the addition of the spec sheet for the doors to be provided to staff.
Want me to repeat?
No, I just put it,
Okay.
is it okay? Any more? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, opposed? Okay, thanks so much. Good luck. We'll look forward to your
You.
opening.
Second on the motion. Thank you.
Wait, no, Will,
Gardner?
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, thanks for being here.
Thanks so
Appreciate it.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Last item is a review of the quick tips brochure on page 53.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish Ms. Godfrey, she unfortunately wasn't able to make it last minute today, and she had actually put this kind of quick tips sheet together. She's kind of been, taking her assignment from the group and taking that on. So she put this together and shared it with the chair and I thought it was, a good sheet to bring forward to the commission. And, my kind of, this email with her was that, the city does have, and I included, a copy of it in your packet, a pamphlet that probably could use a little refreshing and updating. But the thought was that, if the commission's, satisfied with this kind of quick tip sheet, that's something that we could actually put first page of, the application packet. I actually think, on the zoning side, we actually have included like a link to our zoning ordinance on our applications. We hadn't done that yet for Historic District Commission as it related to the guidelines, and it's probably better to have it all in one place instead of trying to send separate links like I often do to folks. So I really like that's in there, and some quick tips right off the top before somebody's kind of jumping in and filling out an application, but open to your feedback and changes and going from there.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think it's terrific. It's
Yeah.
really nicely done. I might give you a couple little small edits.
Okay.
Like under contributing and non-contributing, I might just say like mostly original and like some modifiers, because sometimes something's contributing, but it's not quite original. So
Yeah.
just little things like that. But I think it's like nits and gnats, not anything crazy. Do you guys, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Two things I want to note. If you look at it kind of took me back because that was the former city logo with City Hall. You'll notice the clock.
Mhm.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
know where the clock, we know where the clock is. Yes, so anyway, I'll leave that there. This also reminds me, we had some previous discussion about, I had a suggestion of thinking about putting up new district signs.
Yes.
This might be a good time to maybe think about that at the same time, I think, just to refresh everything. If you pass by those signs, which most of us do, they're pretty old. And, which maybe that's the intent, right? Historic district signs. But I think what we can do with this is, maybe do something, and I know Holland's got some signs, Grand Rapids and Heritage Hill has some, and I think just food for thought in terms of maybe we can maybe up our game a bit just for the community.
Yeah, that's a good tie-in.
Yeah.
Mr. Gardner, are you referring to like the brown?
Yeah.
Like metal, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a common state designated historic district level signage, but yeah, it sounds, I don't know if that's like required, so I mean.
I think it's just like you're saying, it's like utilitarian.
Yep.
You check that box on the order sheet as a district.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says we couldn't. Same size, just even if it's like kind of that artwork with.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
refreshed.
yeah, I just think it would be, I just think it'd be a good idea. It's not terribly expensive to do it either.
Are there, I don't know where these assets live or any other assets. Like this line drawing, or are
Yeah,
they
I'd
in the
have to-
city's computer somewhere? Where did Laura get that?
So the pamphlet is something that the city already has.
Already has.
So that's kind of, this is a historic, I shouldn't say historic.
Yeah,
Older pamphlet that's been
Yeah.
around for a while, and I had, I use it especially early on, with a lot of applicants. I think it's got a really, the information's great, maybe could use a little refresh. As far as the image that's in it, I could see if we have, more detailed.
Well, not
drawing.
necessarily just, I was just using that as an example, but what we really just need is a a designer, not to design something, but to sort of pull something together. So let me see within my my resource pool,
Okay.
if I might just reach out to you and see if there's some artwork or something that we might need, if we have an idea.
Okay.
And I'll bring it to the next meeting. I don't think it's a heavy lift. It's probably, the bigger lift is just getting them produced. So. I don't.
Yeah. And it might be part of a larger discussion at some point. I actually just had this conversation a little bit with the township manager yesterday as we were kind of going over, joint list items, but excuse me, I know our Parks and Public Works Committee is kind of raised, whether or not there should be, a look at, kind of some refreshed or more uniform signage, wayfinding signage, those types of things, similar to what, Douglas has just done, and whether or not to take on, kind of a project like that. So, this could be a part of that, certainly as well.
Okay.
So, but either way, yeah, it could stand on its own as well. I think good suggestion. So.
Awesome. Okay. If nothing else there, we'll move to the next item, which is administrative approvals and updates. There's a little list there. Anybody have any questions about those, or you want to add anything to any part of that?
Nothing to add, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Next item is communication. In our packet, there is some communication from Gary Medler outlining his points about the playground. I assume everyone's had a chance to look at that. Ryan, is there anything you want to mention in the packet? We have a special meeting next week on this, so we'll talk about the application itself in that special meeting, but anything on the letter you want to?
Correct. Nothing in particular to add, Mr. Chair. And as you noted, a special meeting on next week, Tuesday at 6 PM here at City Hall to discuss the playground further.
Okay.
Chair?
Yes.
Would now be an appropriate time to maybe talk about the special meeting, just for a moment?
Yep,
I have a couple
That's the
questions.
next thing on the agenda. So
Perfect. We don't have a packet yet, right? Has the application been?
Should be coming to you, the packet will be coming to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something that I've mentioned before, I mentioned at council, and I'm going to bring it up again, is I really think for me personally, I think it's important for us to be able to, when we look at our standards that we're going to apply this application against, like any other applicant, the things that come to mind in my assessment of this is similar to what we've done with other applications, is streetscape compatibility, architectural style, compatibility of siding and massing, which is to me kind of a key thing down in that park. Compatible detailing as well as pedestrian scale. So those are some of the standards that I will be personally looking at. What I've struggled with this is I'm a very visual person and there's a lot of renderings that were done for the project by Sinclair, which are very detailed, very colorful, but they're not in context or scale to the properties around it. And most importantly, the park itself. And with those standards, for me, I really would like to see something more. Do you understand where I'm going?
do you want like a rendering to show it in situ?
Right, exactly. In comparison to the Christian Science Church, in comparison to the Maplewood, in comparison to the bathrooms, in comparison to the, just so we can get a sense of what the scale is going to look like for someone standing in the middle of that intersection at Main and Butler and turning around, seeing, kind of what you see on Google 360, right? I would really like to see something like that to help me personally as a commissioner better understand, to measure against these standards and others, exactly how it's going to look to the person walking down the street and seeing it. And that's not
Could we just back up a bit?
that,
What's the purpose of discussing it here when we're having the meeting next Tuesday? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
this Tuesday.
And
Tuesday.
my question, and my further question is, are we starting as if it's a brand new application? Or are we approving what has been agreed through, recent past?
So let me ask,
So are we gonna go back and replow the look?
Yeah. Could I clarify that?
I'm curious about.
Yeah, I'm interested, the additional features are what in scope for Tuesday, right?
yes,
Correct. And so I do think it's probably, this isn't like a a planned discussion item for tonight. This was kind of more of a communication
Yeah,
information
and-
at the meetings next week, but I think tomorrow, I mean, city's application to to the Historic District Commission will be in a full meeting packet, fully explaining what we're asking you to review.
Yeah, so to clarify, I think, Russ, what you're bringing up, you're asking for in that packet, if you could see a rendering to put it in context.
Yes. Yeah.
We aren't talking about the application
That's
tonight
correct.
because we don't have the materials. The application we see on Tuesday will not be what's already approved. It will
Okay.
be just the new elements,
Yeah.
Okay,
in addition to what we already approved.
okay. So we're gonna see that change in context.
We'll see that in the packet. I don't, just like any other application, I don't know that the applicant will have a rendering, what
Yeah.
you're, the way you're asking, sort of like we've talked about before. Sometimes applicants, even when we ask, don't do that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if something like that exists, but that's a packet question, I think. Right?
Yeah, yes. And I'm just thinking ahead of what we're going to see, and that's exactly where I'm going with it, not to revisit the decision that's already been made, but
Right.
to be able to better understand what the additional features actually will impact what's been approved, and in context with the standards that are.
Our
in play.
role there is to look at the changes relative to what we approved previously, correct? And we're gonna get educated on what we approved. This is just the
Yeah.
historic commission. And what is being proposed as a change to what we approved. Is that correct?
I believe
Okay.
that's correct, right, Ryan?
And
Correct. So we have a full narrative that's prepared that will
yeah,
So
outline things.
just-
Essentially, I mean, in short, the plans are the same except for the canoe moving. So the features that you
That's kinda
approved
where I was going.
previously. So
Right.
would be reviewing the additional features and movement of the canoe. So, but we have some narrative to kind of further, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just wanting to prepare myself whether I need to go to a deep study on this or just be ready for the change to what we approved.
Correct.
Because, I don't want to.
Take a look at the packet when it comes out and I think we'll be set.
Okay, good.
Are there anything else on that? Anyone? Are there any public comments?
Not that I see.
Okay. Any other commission comments? The only thing I would just, we did put our purpose statement at the top of the agenda this time, so. Saw that, so we're
Yeah.
between the sign and the brochure and the notes.
Yeah,
We're
and
making
then
progress.
those are, tell us all what those are. again?
Great. Yeah, so we're sending just a note to every owner, every property owner listed on the applications, just thanking them for their collaboration.
Great.
And wishing them the best.
Perfect.
All right. Do I
And
have
Mr.
a?
and Mr. Chair.
Yep, oh, sorry, no, so is Nico?
I was just gonna say, Mr. Chair, if I
Yeah,
could, I wanted to
yeah,
at
thanks
least
for
notify
remembering
the
that.
commission, yes, that Nico has since sold his home and resigned from the commission. And so I really want to thank him for his all of his service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On the record, public recognition. He's been great over the last 5-6 years. So,
Yeah.
so that position will be posted soon.
Yeah, I will, put that notification next council packet, for the vacancy
Okay.
and send out to the public for, the process of receiving applications.
Terrific.
Once those come in, then I'll send it to you.
Okay, so I know you heard someone that is interested, so we'll watch for that and send them. We have a great qualified applicant to
Yeah,
add to the mix.
The notice doesn't need to go out for them to apply. The application for boards and commissions is always on the website, so you can direct them to that before the notice goes out. Because I keep those on file, people will randomly just apply even if there's no opening, so.
Yeah, you've always
if you know
done,
someone,
you've done a great job of always keeping those on file, of people who are interested.
Will that
so that's
email
fine.
have a link that I can just forward on? to her? Or
Yeah, or it's online. I can email you the link tomorrow morning.
that'd
if
be
you wanna
great.
forward it
Yeah, I would
on.
just like to forward it so she could just click on it.
Yeah, I'll
She-
email that to you in the morning and you can forward that.
Perfect.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to anything else?
No,
I feel like an auctioneer, all done?
Yeah.
All done.
No, I think the applicant that you're referring to might have already submitted an application to us, but we can double check on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just go look.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. John seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.